Capricorn, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for early to mid-November 2024. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know, I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business as always and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we could dip our toes in the energy and see what's happening for the lovely Cappies. Hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic, my friends. Let's get it going here. My guide, spirit team, talk to me. What do we got for Capricorn? My good friends, what energy, messages, insights can we take a little peek at? And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card. Then we'll get into the full reading itself. At the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot, just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean into, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for the Cappies in early to mid-November. What's the vibe? What's the energy around them, please? My good friends, there we go, nice and quick. Okay, appearances. Now this could come through in several different ways, and part of this message could be very optimistic, confident, and good, but another one is a little bit cautionary, especially if I'm thinking back on recent weeks' readings. Now, before we fully dive into that, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the November subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. And also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, you know, I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, into the reading. Let's talk a little bit more about this card. So we see the lovely lady here in her blue dress. She's got the big wig on. Notice that she is looking in a mirror. She's holding it up and kind of checking herself out, looking at it. The room is filled with mirrors too. That might be a little too much, right? But when I see this card, it could just represent appearances or aesthetics. So for some Cappies out there, a small percentage, maybe you're changing something about your look. Maybe you're doing something with your wardrobe. It could be anything focused on how people perceive you. I do also link this to perspective as well. So various situations you might be going through, maybe you need to look at it from a different perspective to get a little more insight and wisdom. This card can be really amazing for confidence and feeling good about yourself. So for some Capricorns, you might have a little boost in self-confidence. That could be good. But where we get to the challenge of this card can sometimes represent an individual that's a little too overconfident. If you're connected with any individuals that are really egotistical or ego-driven, this card could represent that. So you might want to keep those type of people at an arm's length when this card shows up, because that type of vibe could definitely rub you the wrong way. So we're just going to put her down right there. She could keep looking in that mirror. Let's get into tarot now. And yeah, I always say the first card here doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright. Then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. What do we got here for the Cappies, please, early to mid-November? And while we get this deck shuffled up and ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading. I will also mention for the past several weeks, I've seen some choppy energy around the Capricorn reading, so I'm hoping it hasn't been affecting you too much. But last week's reading was titled Beware of This Person. So social circles, people you may be connected to, Spirit was probably telling you that something or someone might need your eye or your attention to keep an eye on. But we're going to see what shows up for you this week. As you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone, so only take this how it hits for you, because we could be seeing your vibe or somebody else's, right? Let's get you 3 cards here and hope to turn it around. What do we got for the Cappies here in early to mid-November? Thank you. Okay, so maybe we will turn it around. We do have the Fool in position number 1. I feel like that's a really nice placement for this card to show up in. I always love when we start the reading off with the Fool. We're not going to get too optimistic just yet. Let's get a couple more cards out here. It's looking okay so far. Thank you. Page of Pentacles. So communication, conversation could really be at play. That's a card that could also represent you. Let's get one more out here, then we'll piece it all together. So far, I'm feeling cautiously optimistic. Let's get one more. What do we got for the Cappies, early to mid-November, please? And the Chariot. So I do feel like all of these energies can be beneficial for you, depending on what it is you're going through, but big action. There's a lot of action-oriented cards showing up for you this week. So let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes. Then we'll get into that juicy intuitive stuff. But at first glance, I'm looking down here. I like the mixture of elements we have going on. We have a little bit of fire. We got some earth. We have some water. 2 huge cards of action right here. Even the page is an energy that's in movement. So if there's anything you've been dealing with for a while, or you feel like something's stuck or something's not progressing, all of this energy is about moving forward and a lot of progression. I do like it. And then also the fact that we have a card of you, but also two strong, powerful major arcana here. These are strong energies, strong themes. So let's go through piece by piece and really start to build it out. Position number one, we are starting with the Fool card. Now, like every card in the tarot deck, has a lot of positives. It also does have some drawbacks. So let's go through the positives first. This is the card connected to the zodiac sign of Aries. So you might be connected to one. Maybe you have some Aries placements yourself. Aries is the first zodiac sign, so it's the initiator, just like the Fool, the very first of the major arcana. It can represent new journeys, new adventures. It's moving forward. Very positive. It's a jovial, light-hearted type of energy as well. So if you've been a little down in the dumps, this is the type of energy we want to see, because it's like, okay, things are starting to turn around. This is a really good card, especially for just moving forward. When we get to the challenge of the Fool, is it could be a little too spontaneous. Remember, it is Aries energy, and I'm not bad talking Aries. I have a lot of Aries placements myself. Sometimes Aries could be very spontaneous, very quick to act. So that could be a little drawback that Spirit could be telling you, like, hey, Cappy, just don't be too overzealous with anything. Like, take your time, because you might be feeling a little more spontaneous than you normally do when this card is here. But to me, when we start the reading with an action card, that's always a good thing, because it's telling me the energy is not gunked up. I guess it depends on what clarifies it, right? So we'll see what's up with that. I'm getting an okay feeling so far. Now, moving to the center, we have the Page of Pentacles. Fantastic, especially in a Capricorn reading. All pages represent new. So you see that little theme we're building here with the Fool and the Page. These are fresh energies. They're not stagnant. They're not stale. And the Page of Pentacles, again, could be representing you. So when we see this page, the clarifier could tell us something coming towards you, what you might be feeling. All pages are messengers. All pages are students. So any like new things you want to throw your energy into, new paths you want to explore, this is really fantastic for that. Especially with learning and absorbing information. Like, this is a fact finder right here. So that could be good. Maybe you have the little investigations going on when this is here, like trying to figure something out. The page could literally just talk about conversation, messages, talks, communication. So we'll see what wants to show up here. Feeling okay so far. Once again, I don't want to get too optimistic. When we get to the challenge of this card, similar to any new energy type of vibe, is that it's not fully developed just yet. So it could represent offers and opportunities, sure, new paths that you could walk down, but you need to meet the universe in the middle here, because when it comes to page energy, it's not a guarantee. So we'll definitely look at that further when we get to the clarifying. So let's get that page tucked in right there next to the Fool. They could hang out. They're best buds. Now, we get to the back end, we have the Chariot, Cancer energy. The Cancerians, that's your zodiacal counterpart. They're straight across the zodiacal wheel from you. So usually I think that's a good balanced off type of energy. The Chariot to me is the fastest moving card in the whole entire deck. It is explosive. It's boom. It's moving forward. So it can represent either a situation that comes out of nowhere. I do feel it's a neutral energy. It could be either going towards something or moving away, but regardless, it's some sort of action or move if you're not connected to a Cancer. The positives of this card, it can have a lot of determination. It can represent travel, distance, long distance things, you name it. Even your mode of transportation. So if you have anything going on with how you get around, the Chariot could represent that. But the challenge of this card is that it can be aggressive. It can be over-aggressive. Remember, Chariots were initially made as instruments of war. So when we combine this with that live wire type of Fool energy, Spirit could be telling you to temper yourself or don't be too aggressive with something. Hopefully it's not a conflict, but we're going to get that Chariot down right there. Yeah, Capricorn, I want to dive deeper on all of this stuff, so let's do it. Let's jump in and clarify. Let's get a good shuffle here. What's happening for my Cappies? What is going on? And yes, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation, and I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on that Fool. And yes, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give to Cappy, you can drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. All right, Fool time. What's this action about? Or how's this starting? Thank you. Yeah, very spontaneous live wire type of energy we're picking up here. And I do feel like what I was saying about the Fool and this Chariot could absolutely be a little bit of a warning. Now, again, I don't feel like it's all bad here. It doesn't feel like the whole reading is sunk. But when I see the King of Wands in reverse, this is an uncontrollable type of vibe. So let's go into the King Wands a little bit more, because with all this energy, it does feel very explosive, but it also feels like a little bit of a warning. Okay, so you really might have to temper yourself in one way or another, or pump the brakes with something, because you might be a little more aggressive than you normally are with this type of energy. But again, it could turn out well. I guess we have to see how it all plays out. But kings represent control of their respective suit. Now, for a portion of you, maybe you're connected with a fire sign. Maybe this is a fire sign coming in. So Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. But since kings control their suit, when we see fire, remember, it's about passion. It's about action. It's extremely fired up. It's about drive. This king usually directs where it's putting its attention. It's usually very measured when it's in the upright. And remember, it showed up in reverse for you underneath this Fool card. So again, I feel like this could be a little bit of an explosive warning where Spirit's like, all right, whoa, let it calm down. You might need to let something simmer down a little bit, or just give it a little time. That's just something that's coming up to me here. Again, this could be related to action. It's something coming in quick. So for a portion of you, this might be a good thing, especially if things have been stagnant. I won't quite say it's a warning for every single Capricorn, because if things haven't been moving to your liking, then this can be very good, because it could just be something that starts picking up steam out of nowhere. So we're going to keep moving over, see if we could get a little more detail. Let's go in on that Page of Pentacles. So why is that Page of Pentacles? I feel like I've seen a similar energy for you maybe like 3 or 4 weeks ago, but let's go in on that page. Why is the page here for the Cappies? Could be important. And of course, the Chariot's going to be important too. So why is the page here? Yep. So it's a little difficult. It's a little bit of a difficult energy I'm picking up here. We have the Eight of Wands in reverse here. So for some of you, you might be having communication issues with somebody where it's either really difficult for them to get their point across to you, or it's going to be difficult for you to get your point across, where it's like, okay, like, are you hearing what I'm saying here? Okay, so this explosive energy I was picking up in the front, I'm still picking it up here in the center. This can be a conversation, right, that goes through like in an explosive way. So watch out for the explosive talks and stuff like that. Now, the Eight of Wands in the upright is usually moving forward, very similar to what this King of Wands is. It's like moving forward, it's fast, it's action. In reverse, it could represent issues, it could represent delays, it could represent issues with communication. So I feel, aside from that possibility that it's hard to get your point across, there could be somebody that mistakes what you say, or misunderstands you. Like you might accidentally step on someone's toes, or that could be the other way around. Like if somebody's a little offensive to you, or they get you riled up or offend you in one way or another. I don't feel it's on purpose, but I would watch out for any sort of issue with communication, okay? Because this does feel like an explosive talk or message here. So we're just going to leave it right there. For a portion of you, very small portion of you, there could be somebody or something that you're either refusing to talk to or talk about when I see this. Like it's just issues surrounding talking, which I wasn't expecting to see. But again, with the Fool, the Chariot, the King of Wands reverse, the Eight of Wands in reverse, the energy is very fiery. It's like all over the place. So just know this, in this time, there's various things that could be changeable. They could be very malleable. That's a plus side to all of this volatility. Let's keep moving forward. I mean, I do feel like the energy is improving compared to where it was the past few weeks. It just feels like it's in a space of flux, if that makes sense. But let's go in on the Chariot. Then we'll do a quick little recap before we get into the shadow. So why is the Chariot here for my Cappies, please? What is going on? Thank you. Yeah. I mean, we just have so much fire here, so much movement. Now we have the Two of Wands in reverse. This, to me, aside from all the fire archetypes we were already talking about, yeah, twos, they represent decisions, choices, being at a crossroads, go left, go right, all that good stuff. But to me, that's a huge card of strategy and planning. Notice how it showed to us in reverse under this card of action. So again, I feel like I have to keep reiterating this warning I gave you here on the front end, because it's like these energies are mirroring each other. Now that can mean a couple different things. You might be mirroring an energy of somebody else, or they could be mirroring you. It doesn't feel like it's all you. It could just be the world around you too. If you're in a place, if you're this Page of Pentacles with the Eight of Wands in reverse, just standing firm, it's like the energy around me, it's going wild. Okay, so again, I feel like the explosive warnings here showing up in multiple ways here. Everything is malleable, and that can be good if you can direct the energy in a proper place. But unplanned energy with this Two of Wands in reverse, unexpected. So whether it's someone's actions, whether it's an unexpected action, or someone's acting in a way that they don't normally do, I feel like this is definitely a type of energy where you should just let something simmer down or just let it run its course. Okay, it's like it might need a hands-off approach, if that makes sense. Like the more you try to control it or the more you try to steer the ship, the harder it's going to be. Because right now, the way the energy is, it's not settled and it's not ready to just yet. It's like still in a changeable process. So let's go through and do a quick little recap, because again, there's a lot of similar themes, but there's just a lot of fire around you this week, which can be a little uncomfortable sometimes, unless you have fire placements, right? But if you kindly look in the box before we get to the shadow card, position number one, we're starting off with the Fool card. Yes, very optimistic. And I will say this, the reading itself did feel optimistic to me. That's why I'm saying, even though there's a couple warnings in this reading this week, it doesn't feel like everything is fully tanked. It just feels like things are in the midst of changing and shifting. But yeah, the Fool has the King of Wands in reverse, so the explosive warning I already gave, that like things could go a little bit of a different way. There could be actions or things popping up where it's like, oh, okay, it feels like the more you try to control it, the harder it's going to be to deal with. Moving to the center, we have the Page of Pentacles with the Eight of Wands in reverse, very similar. Now, maybe some of you are the firm energy in the situation, but to me, this does feel like there could be misunderstandings, people not communicating properly, people mistaking what you're saying, or vice versa. I don't feel like there's any purposeful animosity happening here, but at the same time, I just feel like there's just so much explosive energy all over the place that things are changeable and they can be directed in a good place. It might just need time. Moving to the back end, we have the Chariot with the Two of Wands in reverse, very unplanned type of energy. So whether this is two people mirroring each other or it's just the energy is not really controllable or containable at the moment, you might just need to let it simmer. Okay, because there could be unexpected actions or situations popping up. So please take a screenshot if you want to look into those further. Let's see what's in the shadows for you. Let's see if we get a little more fire here too. So what's happening here? What do we got in the shadows for the Cappies? And yeah, I always like to pull one shadow card at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge. They could be a good thing. So let's get your one. Oh yes, if you made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel, and I have much love for all my channel members. Okay, let's get this shadow card out. Okay. Okay, Five of Pentacles. Now, this is a totally different vibe from what I'm picking up here within the reading itself, because the Five of Pentacles, it could be several different things. One, this could be Spirit asking you to budget your money or just keep an eye on finances, but I don't feel like it's necessarily monetary based here when it shows up in this sense. The Five of Pentacles could sometimes represent isolation or feelings of lonesomeness or even abandonment in this time. So I would watch out for the rough feelings. That could absolutely be the case when this shows up. Now, I will also say this, in context of the reading we saw about letting something simmer down or possible communication issues, when I see this Five of Pentacles, this could easily be Spirit saying like, listen, Saggy, just take a step back for a moment. So if you're dealing with any situations or anything where it's running a little too hot, Spirit could still be advising through the shadow card to just take a step back for a minute and just let something process how it needs to. But yeah, watch out for the feelings of isolation in this time as well. So we're going to put that down right there. Cappy, that's what I have for you this week, my beautiful friends. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details, the November subscriber. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can check out my digital calendar and book one on my website, mastermetaphysics.com. But for the November subscriber surprise, I'm giving away 2 copies of one of my all-time favorite decks, the Gilded Tarot Royale. So if you'd like to get your name in for this, 2 simple things as always, my friends. First, you must be subscribed. And second, let me know down in the comments, out of all the tarot cards, which one do you feel is the most misunderstood? And if you're new to tarot completely, which one do you have a little trouble with understanding its meaning? You'll be entered to win, and at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in my community tab. As always, my friends, much love, and I'll see you soon.